Breaking tonight, with Donald Trump all but locked in now as the Republican nominee, there is a growing debate about what this means for other Republican races, particularly in the U.S. Senate. 24 of the 54 Republican Senate seats are up for grabs and will share the ballot in November with Trump. And some media outlets are suggesting that's a problem for Republicans. From USA Today, down-ballot GOP candidates fear Trump shipwreck. And from the Washington Post, want to see a GOP senator duck and run? Ask about Trump. The folks at The Week made their conclusion obvious when they wrote why Donald Trump will doom Republican Senate majority. Joining me now, the majority leader of the Republican-controlled Senate, Mitch McConnell of Kentucky. He has a new book out, which is called The Long Game, and it's fascinating. We'll get to that in a minute. Great to see you, Mr. Leader. Thank you for being here. So, your take on that? Disastrous predictions down ballot when Trump is the nominee in November.
I don't think so. I mean, regardless of what happens at the top of the ticket, you have two nominees here who we know for sure are very unpopular. And so I think neither one of them can count on a kind of Barack Obama 2008 landslide in which your party sweeps the House and the Senate and everybody's saying, not only are we going to elect you president, we want you to do anything you want to.
No one's getting a mandate.
I don't think so. This is going to be a ticket-splitting kind of year. We do have a lot of exposure, as you pointed out, 24 members up and only 10 Democrats. But they're very popular incumbents, people like Kelly Ayotte and Pat Toomey and Rob Portman and others.
Now, let's talk about what's on the Senate agenda going forward, which is the number one thing you hear people talk about when they support Donald Trump, but they don't really like Donald Trump, Supreme Court vacancies. Because when it comes down to it, you're talking about a legacy appointment situation already with the Scalia seat. You have said that you're not even going to give Merrick Garland a look if it's clear, you know, let's say leading up to November, Hillary is prevailing over Trump, or let's say it's lame duck and she's already won. You're not going to give Merrick Garland a hearing if she's already won?
Right.
Come on.
Here's the point. Here's the point. We're in the middle of a presidential election year. No vacancy on the Supreme Court occurring in the middle of a presidential election year has been filled in 80 years. You'd have to go back to 1888, Grover Cleveland in the White House, to find the last time a Senate...
You could have bent the rules a little if she won.
Look, this is about the principle. Does Barack Obama get to fill this seat, tipping the court to the left for the next generation?
What if she's the president-elect?
Well, let me finish. On the way out the door, a lame duck? No. Let the American people speak. Let them decide who they want to make this appointment. Look, there's no chance that if Hillary Clinton's elected, she'll pick anybody to the right of Merrick Garland. He's not a moderate. Barack Obama declaring someone a moderate doesn't make him a moderate. So you're going to get a liberal Supreme Court nominee if Hillary Clinton wins. That's what we got with Barack Obama.
So you're ready for that fight?
If Trump wins, he's already put out a list of people that I think are outstanding, currently serving in the federal judiciary. That's the kind of person he'd appoint. That reason alone determines support.
Now let's talk about the book a bit. The Long Game. It's a memoir. It talks about your childhood battle with polio, your failure to excel in baseball, which sent you into the student council and wound up in you running the U.S. Senate, and how Roger Ailes, our boss here at Fox News, was really responsible for your entire political career. How is that?
Well, the most competitive guy I've ever met, and you see that here at Fox. Without his creativity, he was doing the commercials in my first long-shot race. Here was the situation. It was July. The election was in November. I was 30 points behind. We had a strategy meeting, and I said, Roger, has anybody this far behind, this late, ever won? And he said, not that I can recall. But he was so competitive. I said, is it over? And he said, no. And so we came up with kind of a needle in the haystack issue. My opponent was missing votes on the floor of the Senate to make speeches for money. Roger created these, what we call the bloodhound ads, which had a bunch of hounds with a hunter out looking for Huddleston to try to get him back to work. It captured the imagination of people in my state. They started laughing. It woke the race up, and I ended up winning by 1 vote a precinct.
Oh, wow.
1 vote a precinct.
That's all you need.
What was even more remarkable, though, that was the day of the Reagan sweep. He was carrying 49 out of 50 states. We lost 2 seats in the Senate, and the guy Roger Ailes helped me defeat was the only Democratic incumbent U.S. Senator in the whole country to lose that day.
How about that?
So I do indeed owe my first Senate race to Roger Ailes.
Wow.
Without him, I'd be practicing law in Louisville, Kentucky.
Well, that wouldn't be too bad either. I mean, especially
not as good as this.
Given the approval rating that we see of members of Congress, that, who knows? But
well, lawyers don't rate that high either.
They like you. Great to see you, sir. Good luck with the book.
Good to see you, Megan.
It's a pleasure.